The writers of the New Testament continue to encourage the church to study and learn from Israel's history. The Apostle Paul tells the church in Corinth, which was a pretty messed up church, right? 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 18, Paul writes, "Look to the nation of Israel." Learn from Israel. The good, the bad, the ugly. That's what the Bible is filled with, our dirty laundry as a people. But learn from it. Look to it. Understand it and draw lessons from it and live in light of the word. Paul writes in several other verses in chapter 10 of 1 Corinthians that the story of the Jewish people are an example for us. Sometimes an example of what not to do, sometimes an example of what to do. But we are supposed to look at the nation of Israel. So those who call themselves Christians, pastors, priests, or influencers, whatever, who are so hostile and so vicious and have said God's done with Israel and God's over with Israel and it's a demonic country and we hate this country and why are we even talking about this country? That is not corresponding with what the scriptures say. Acts chapter 7, very famously, Stephen in the New Testament, right? It's the book of Acts. Acts 7, Stephen, just as he's about to be martyred, is recounting the blessed history of God drawing Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and the nation of Israel, and what God's doing in and through the nation and people of Israel. This is not, because a lot of people will say, oh, you're just talking about the Old Testament, Joel. That's the Old Testament. We're New Testament. We're Christians. You have to think Christianly. Well, I was not aware that 2/3 of the Bible is off limits. I thought in the New Testament, thinking Christianly, Paul said that all scripture is inspired by God and it's useful and profitable for our lives. I thought that Paul was writing that we were supposed to look back to the nation of Israel and learn from it. I didn't know the Old Testament was off limits. What was Jesus quoting from? Old Testament. What's the entire New Testament built upon? Old Testament. So people say, oh, you got to think Christianly. Well, yes, in light of all the groundwork that's been laid in the Old Testament.